Hello, hello, and welcome to the Upset Podcast. Tonight we are talking about men and breast cancer. Coming up next. Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. It's so good to be back and to see everyone. And of course, I've missed these wonderful people right here. It's the crew. Hey, guys.
Hey. Happy Sunday.
Hello.
Tally, are you muting yourself on purpose? You don't want to talk to me?
There you go.
Okay. Hi. How's everybody? How are the people?
Happy Sunday.
and welcome back from the motherland.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. You should say Akwaba. In Ghana, I say Akwaba means welcome. Now, I don't know what welcome back means, but Akwaba means welcome. So, yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to be back.
A tropical piece of pitted fruit.
Oh, yes. It was a great experience. Hello.
Well, I mean, for those who don't know where you were or why you were, give us the thumbnail sketch of your peripatetic journeyings in the motherland.
Yes, so I was fortunate to be a part of a team from the Columbia Union that participated in a Bible seminar, evangelistic series, in Ghana at a church called Cape Coast Central. And it, as it suggests, it's right there on the Cape Coast, right by the water. The Atlantic Ocean is just right there in all of its glory. And so this is a very special congregation that had done some Bible work prior to us coming, had reached out to a lot of the community, really trying to, as we do, win people, win souls for Christ. And they really wanted a heavy thrust for young people, for mental health, and for families. And so the team, we were able to go there and support. Celeste Ryan Blyting, the executive secretary for the Columbia Union, was the main speaker. But the rest of the team, we were able to give seminars on different things, participate in the home service, participate in the evening program, giving nuggets, interacting with the people throughout the week. I mean, there was just so much going on for the 2 weeks that we were there, but very over 100 people. I should give you the results. Over 100 people were baptized. We're still in communication with a lot of the people. They're keeping up. You know how when you have those big baptisms and the next week you're like, will the people still be there? They're giving us updates through WhatsApp about what's going on there. As a matter of fact, Dr. Robinson is there currently, the Columbia Union president. And so yeah, it was a great experience. It's one of those things that I feel like everyone has to do in your lifetime. You have to visit the motherland, and being able to go to the Elmina slave castle. That was one of the most heart-wrenching but life-changing experiences of one's life. And I think it's something, as hard as it is, it's important to experience that, literally see where slaves were held and walk through their journey is something I'll never forget. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Black people in the United States, we have a romantic attachment to Africa. Most of us, the vast majority of us, have never been, but we always talk about it. It's like an adopted child wanting to go back to their biological parents. But let me ask you, now that you've been there, is it a place that you feel that you could live comfortably?
Yes. I mean, it is. I always say, whenever, this is my second time being
For a
in the
minute,
continent.
Novella, it took her a second, didn't it?
No, because
I
because I thought about that while I was there. Like, being there for over 2 weeks, you start to get comfortable. You start to, you get used to the people, you get used to the food, you get used, certain things, and you ask yourself, wow, could I really do this long term? And of course I couldn't in that moment because I miss my children, but the people feel like home. So it's a weird phenomenon to be somewhere you've never been before but feel like you belong there, and it feels very much like those people are your people, which they are. A lot of us have our heritage, Ghanaian heritage. So it was just a warm welcome. They claimed us all. So I am Ghanaian now,
Yeah.
whether I can prove that with ancestry.com or not.
We got to give you a Ghanaian name or something. I think it's appropriate.
Did they not give you a name?
Well, they go very much on the day you were born, which I kept saying, was I born on a Thursday? So they have names for, there's Fonte and there's Twi, two different languages, in addition to English. So, I learned a lot. It took me a while to, repeat, how are you? I'm fine. Like, Mahoye. But I it was great. The people were wonderful. They wanted us to embrace the culture. They wanted to embrace us. And I mean, this is a place I feel like I'll go back in my lifetime and feel very much like I'm at home. So thanks for asking. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah. Hey, everybody. What's up, Rodney? Hello, Mary, right? I am not a chiefess yet.
Yeah,
I felt like royalty.
She's chiefess among us. So.
Thank you, Rhonda. Happy to be back.
We'll call you that.
Yay, Sissy, I'm back. Yeah, that was great. Happy Sunday, everybody. And so, how were things while I was gone, guys? 2 weeks.
Well, Pat Graham was leading out in your behalf, and he taught us something very valuable, and that is that we shouldn't let you leave anymore.
Somebody in the comments said, "Where's Natasha?" But it wasn't Natasha. But it wasn't like, "Oh, where's Natasha?" It was like, "Where's Tasha?" Like,
it was one of those kind of things. Somebody go find a grown up.
Right. Yeah, it was it's so funny. I'm reading the comments. Hello, Fernanda. Yes, thank you. I was very grateful to be back after a 10-hour flight. Sometimes you wonder, like, and we were delayed a day, so it is good to be back. So they cut up. Tell the truth, Ryan. Thank you. Someone's telling me what happened. They cut up. They cut up.
Nobody cut up any more than Rodney did. I mean, Grissom was just throwing brickbats from the peanut gallery the whole time.
Oh, Dr. Davis, yes, I missed you guys. I missed my upset family for sure. So it's good to be back. He said he had to be the whistleblower. Yeah, thank you so much, Yvette. It's good to be back. Good to be back. All right, guys. So I feel like I took up all the time today, but I am a little, I don't want to say I'm excited, but whenever we're covering a really interesting topic, I am a little anxious to kind of jump right into it because I think it's a really important one, and one we've never done on the upset. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Novella, move you over here, introduce our topic, and then we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us as well.
Awesome. All right, everyone. The month of October is typically known as Domestic Violence Awareness, Filipino American History, National Chili Month, National Dwarfism Awareness, National Pet CBD, many other things, to include Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Our slide will show us that 1 in every woman will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. Breast cancer is also known as the most common cancer among women. Only about 15% of women diagnosed have a family history of breast cancer. Thus, history isn't a definite answer to if you will or will not get it. What is breast cancer? When cells begin to grow abnormally, the cells multiply and lump together, forming a tumor. Abnormal cells begin to invade other cells. However, What is important to note is that men have breast tissue as well, which means men too can get breast cancer. It is expected that by 2024, 2,800 men will have breast cancer. Now, I'd love to share these facts and share this opportunity with my friend Tally, so that he can provide deeper perspective and further perspective on breast cancer.
You know, it's a strange thing because men are simply not aware of the fact that we share a connection with our sisters and that we have breasts as well. I mean, some people say, no, that's only big men like you, Tally. No. What folks don't know is that in the womb, we are all pretty much identical until hormones cause us to differentiate female from male. And men, even though we are men and we don't lactate, we don't nurse children, we still have the raw material of the breast in our bodies. The cutaway that you see shows how a male body looks with rib cage, and then there's a layer of muscle that covers the rib cage. And then, of course, at the very surface, there is your skin. But between your skin and the muscle in your chest, there's the same material that a woman has. That is breast material. It is the raw makings of the ductwork for lactation that women have. And it's in that area where a cell can go off course and begin to multiply the wrong way and become what we would call tumorous. When you have these things in your chest, as a man, you have breast cancer. Now, it's one thing to have a tumor in the tissue in your breast, but the problem with the tumor in your breast is that the little cells that are inside,
while earlier
and that's
detection
making
and
so
better
much
standards
noise,
of care
I think
increased
I can
response
change
rates.
that. The little cells inside of your chest can break free from the tumors and then float down into a blood vessel. And then once it's in that blood vessel, it's like being on a highway. It can go anywhere in your body. And the tumor from your chest, that breast cancer tumor, can go to your lung, to your spleen, to your pancreas, to your intestines, to your rectum, and it can spread, and that's called metastasis. When that happens, you have what's called metastatic cancer. So men get this just like women in fewer numbers because we don't have the same amount of breast tissue. Now, here's the thing about it. It is more men than you think. Like Novella said, 2,800 men this year are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And you never know who these fellas are, but they can be very manly men. For example, one person I was shocked to find out, a man who had breast cancer, was Massachusetts Senator Edward Brooke. He was one of the pioneers of Black political power. He developed breast cancer. Here's someone else that you know, but you know his daughter even better, and that's Matthew Knowles, the father of Beyonce. He had breast cancer. And even more important, that icon of Black maleness in the 70s that all of us wanted to be like because he would risk his life for his brother man, Richard Roundtree, better known as Shaft, developed breast cancer. Any man can get breast cancer. And in a few moments, we'll introduce you to a man who will share his personal story about developing breast cancer. But the deal that we want men to understand during Breast Cancer Awareness Month is this, that real men can get breast cancer. And if you want to be an intelligent real man, you need to become aware. We're going to turn it over now to someone who has firsthand experience of what it means to discover as a man that he had breast cancer. We'll put a face and a name to it. We'll have a living experience so that as fellas, we can understand how we can go about the business of making sure that we know what condition our condition is in. Novella, thank you for starting this for us. And now, Tasha, we turn it back over to you so that you can introduce our very special guest.
Yes, we are very fortunate to have a special guest. I'm going to bring him on now. Put him front and center here. Raymond Johnson is joining us. I was so happy that he was willing to come share with us this evening. This is something that, as I've talked with him, he does often. As a matter of fact, he was speaking earlier today on this subject because it's something that he is personally passionate about. So, Raymond, can you, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, before we dive into your story, where you are. I know you're in South Carolina. I'll tell them that part. But tell them a little bit about yourself before we talk about your story. Oh, you're muted, Raymond. Sorry.
Be healed.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at me. Go
How
ahead.
you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
Great. Thanks for being here.
A little bit about myself and where I live at. I'm from a small town called Cross, South Carolina. We have a population basically of like maybe 2,100 people.
Wow, that is small.
But,
You're small.
we're small, but we call ourselves the big city, so we just have fun, man. A little bit about myself. I'm a regular country boy. I work so much right now, so I had to sell all my animals and everything like that. But just a regular country boy. I have fun. I don't have kids, and the only kids that I have is like my niece and my nephews. So I'm really family oriented. I love my mom. I love my aunts. I love all my cousins, and we link up and have fun every weekend or every other weekend. We're always doing something. This is basically around this time right now. We're kind of having more fun because it's a little chillier, and we love outside, and we love like our little fires and sitting around talking and just laughing and joking with each other. I'm just a regular working guy, and I just love the Lord.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, we appreciate that. You know, Raymond, you know, when we talked to you early this week, first of all, I wanted to thank you for your courage and your generosity in taking this time with us. But as a man, most of us don't think I better, you know, get a mammogram or I better go get this checked. How old were you when you discovered that you had contracted breast cancer, and how did you discover it?
Well, we as men, we are kind of stubborn. We don't want to go to the doctors or anything like that.
That's right.
But
that's what Jesus is for.
But at the age of 26, I found out. It's really no way as in self-check as with men. We really don't have a machine as a mammogram machine. So
right,
we have to literally, like, as you do all the time, if you're around family or friends or anything like that, you're rubbing your chest and just laughing or whatever like that. It's just all about paying attention to yourself.
So it was by happenstance that you discovered that there was something abnormal going on in your chest?
Yes, just like I said, just being a typical man, being stubborn. I knew I had that something was wrong with me for like 6 months. Just being a typical man, I'm getting up, I'm going to work, I'm going to make some money. So
yeah. So what were you experiencing, Raymond, that made you know something was off?
So in that 6 months, it wasn't really no symptoms, no problems. But that last I guess few days of that 6 months, it felt like a heart attack.
Oh wow.
It just was a throbbing pain, and as I was short of breath, just I guess that would be the normal things of a heart attack or about to have a stroke. You're sweating a lot and everything.
So when you found out about the diagnosis, what was your reaction and how did you process that?
I grew up rough, so I take a lot of things in. I don't just dwell on the problem. I'm just a go fixer and get it over with person. I had my mom and my sister with me, and when they started crying, I had to get out of there. I had to go pray. So I just dealt with it that way, as in just pray. I'm gonna leave it in the Lord's hand and no ask no questions. Just go with it and let's get this over with.
So indicative to a woman getting a mammogram and then a biopsy,
yes,
and then results, was yours perhaps a sonogram and then a biopsy and results? Since I don't know that men can do mammograms, I'm not sure.
No, there's no way of
We don't
Well,
have enough
we
man.
don't have a machine. We don't have a machine for that. As
Right.
in, there's no way of putting our chest to the machine and seeing it, anything like that, because it has to be compressed to understand what's going
Right.
on. But how you say it, it was basically the same events that came up, how it went.
Sonogram biopsy results.
Yes.
What stage did they give you during
I was stage 3.
Okay.
Wow. Oh.
You know, I can understand why your mom and your relatives were upset.
Right.
That's a pretty serious stage.
Yes.
So what was the prognosis when they said, you know, you're feeling like you're having a heart attack, you're going through something, and then they say, hey, you're not having a heart attack, you have breast cancer, and then you pick your face up off the floor and realize you got something you didn't even know you could get. Or let me ask you, did you know that you could get it?
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what was the prognosis? What did they say was going to happen next? How did they start treating you?
So it's a process of maybe 4 days that I found out during the process. So on that Thursday, went to the hospital. That Friday, did the biopsy. They told me that in 4 days that I'll get the results. But I went back to work on that Monday, and I got the results back in that Monday. And there really wasn't nothing that I could do, as in processing anything like that. My doctor, Dr. Beatty, she was just straightforward and say, okay, we have to do some more tests and just figure out what's going on. So, luckily, after we did tests, it just sat right there behind the nipple. So, this was a process of how we going to attack it. It gave me options of what do I want to do, because it's always your choice what you want to do. Either you want to be holistic, you want to go with the doctors and go with chemo, or just, I guess, do your research and try different areas. I didn't think about nothing. I was just trying to get over with. So I didn't go holistic. I did my researches while going through this process, but it was just seeming like a lot of time consuming. So I'm just ready to get it over with.
So what did you choose to do? You know, women, there's mastectomies or double mastectomies. There's this lumpectomy. You know, what then was your choice? And did that choice follow with chemotherapy or radiation?
Okay, so I started with chemo because the mass was half of the size of a baseball, so I couldn't.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I couldn't have surgery right there because it was too big. So I had to go through chemo first to shrink it just enough, and we got it down to a P, and then I had surgery, and then I had radiation. But right after surgery, I had a double bilateral mastectomy.
So they removed all of the breast tissue in your chest.
Yes, I went straight Kevin Hart, no nipples.
I didn't know this about Kevin Hart.
Wow. So what was this time frame from the chemo to having this?
It's about, everything got done in like 8 months.
Oh, wow.
We attacked it like,
okay.
Everybody is different with chemo. So sometimes you got to start off slow and then go heavy. We went heavy first and then we slowed down.
Okay.
I see that magnificent beard that you're sporting, and a lot of times radiation and chemo removes your hair. Did you go through that situation?
Yeah, sadly, I had a smooth face.
Is there something wrong with that, Brother Raymond?
There's nothing wrong with it. Just that I don't.
That's not
I
you.
guess that's just my protector. I don't like my face smooth.
Your signature. How did you feel? You know, women, even if we haven't had breast cancer, when our friends, our loved ones go through it and they start to lose hair and go through various changes, we have a sympathy for it with them. And
Yes.
so as a man, you know, how were your emotions seeing you lose your signature? Is that salt and pepper? I see. I think salt.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Salt and pepper is awesome. But you know, how did you navigate the feelings of losing your salt and pepper?
Well, it wasn't at that time. It wasn't salt and pepper, but that's basically the only time that I cried during going through the whole process.
Wow.
But other than that, all my friends, I texted them and I told them, if you're coming to see me, please do not come in the house with a sad face. Don't ever have your head down. Come to me how you always come to me. If we're laughing and joking or we are fighting or anything like that, come the same way.
Yes.
I dealt with it just how I normally would be on a normal day.
Yeah.
So you mentioned how, you know, when you were first diagnosed, how your mother and your aunts kind of had, you know, pretty strong reaction.
Mhm.
What was it like for your family through that process of watching you go through this experience?
They were very helpful. But I'm still a dude that does everything for himself. If I'm sick, I'm still gonna do everything for myself. They tried to help, and I'll tell them I'll be okay. Just thank you, but I'm okay. I always was like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Did you like feel weird about telling people that you had breast cancer? Like, was that something? Yeah.
So how everybody knows me is because I have to go through a whole insurance process with the state. I got denied twice because this special insurance for the state was for women. I got denied twice.
Wow.
So as
Interesting.
in that process and just trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay for everything, I told just my inlet family, and just being in the Black community, you know, we don't want to really talk to everybody and tell everybody about our sickness. So that process came in as in, okay, we're gonna try to figure out in the family, and what happens happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the only person that really was mad with me, as in I didn't really tell him, was my uncle, and he kind of let me have it for like a month. But after that, he apologized, and we are really cool right now.
I'm so sorry as it pertains to the insurance part.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was only listed for women when men have the tissue.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is a human problem as opposed to a woman problem. You know, if it was like fibroids, I think fibroids are a woman problem, right? But
yes,
right, that's woman. But so if you turned up with fibroids, we'd ask other questions.
Yes.
You know, but you have the hardware.
Yes.
Of tissue. And so I wonder if your case and other men's cases of breast cancer, if it prompted some conversations among insurances, physicians, and policy holders to make some choices about how they are listing and categorizing certain, diseases, illnesses for all genders.
Okay. So while going through that process, as in getting denied twice, my nurse advocate at the time, she knew a news anchor at the local news station, and I did a couple interviews with like different channels and everything like that, like Fox News and CNN. And due to me doing that, I got the law changed in South Carolina to let everybody know.
Nice.
That prompted like other insurance companies to just look into more, as in what diseases are like basically for both. I'm sorry, but yeah, it did open eyes to other insurance companies and everything like that.
Will have to be helpful because like we looked at the stats regarding men and breast cancer. And so this will be very helpful for other men who have to navigate this journey. So thank you for your bravery.
Yeah.
Just for forward into the news.
I don't want to ask anything that brings sadness, but I'm sure that while you were going through your treatment, you knew other men who were going through treatment. Not everybody. I mean, you look as healthy as a wagon team of horses right now, but not everybody came through it the way you did. Are you familiar with or aware of any other men that had breast cancer who did not come through? And what makes the difference between the obvious survival and thriving that you have and those who don't make it?
Well, my survival was after. I always laughed every day. I was happy every day. I never was sad. That's one thing I prayed about, to never be sad, because I did research as in a joyful person would survive anything.
Okay.
The youngest guy I know, he lived in Kentucky. He was like 14.
Oh,
Wow.
14 with breast cancer?
Yeah, he was 14, and I think he had stage 2. I think. I used to talk to him like maybe every day, but his demise came maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's so sad.
How old was he when he passed, Raymond?
I'm guessing maybe 20 something. I don't know.
Wow.
You never think of a 14-year-old, not even a 14-year-old girl,
Right.
Yeah.
as having breast cancer, but wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. Now we learned from the initial stats and facts about men with breast cancer or breast cancer in general, that it's not necessarily hereditary. But in your case, do you have anyone in your family that experienced breast cancer prior to you?
I'm sorry. I'm not really like informed with like my father's side of the family, but for the people like my aunts, well, I only have like maybe 3 aunts on that side of the family. They told me that one of my great cousins had breast cancer, and he died when he was like 60, and he found out he was 47 or something like that. And other than that, it's on that side of the family, all I know is just breast cancer on that side of the family. But my mother's side of the family is stomach and colon. That's only.
You made mention, I'm sorry. I thought somebody else was, but you made mention a little while ago that when you discovered you had breast cancer, that they had to treat it first, do radiation to shrink it first, because it was the size of a baseball. How does a brother carry a tumor the size of a baseball in his chest and not notice it?
Oh, it was a half size, but
half a size.
Half a baseball.
Yeah.
So like a golf ball.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, and you didn't notice it.
Yeah, just being stubborn. I'm sorry, just being stubborn. Don't want to go to the doctor, and having the mindset I gotta go get some cash. I gotta get money. I gotta go to work.
So you did notice it, but you ignored it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What you can't notice now, Ray, beneath this camera, man, I'm rubbing off. I'm having all sorts of thrills over here, man.
That's the normal thing that when I tell men what's happening or what happened to me, that's the first thing they do. They start rubbing on their chest.
Yeah.
That's the normal.
Women do the same too. Like,
so now that you changed the law in where was it again?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Is there any way for men to get regular checkups for breast cancer?
Yes. It's just all about going to the doctor. I mean, and paying attention to yourself. We still be stubborn. We're stubborn as in we don't want to go to the doctor. It's just all about just going to the doctor and get yourself checked out.
Yeah,
and so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know for women, like they suggest when you're in your 40s, right, to get a mammogram.
That 1 year.
And I think that might be too late for women. So
Mhm.
like, imagine, men not being able to, like, they don't even know what the best age for a man to get that checked out.
Yeah.
It's just
The
interesting to me.
the normal research that they did breast
Oh
cancer
no.
is 50 for men.
Oh,
50? The age
Yeah.
50?
50.
Wow. Okay.
So you go at 45, you go get the prostate check, and then 5 years after that, that's what normally happens. That back in the day with that age was breast cancer was like from 50 to 80.
I'm feeling like those numbers shouldn't
Need to
be.
change.
They need to be. I have friends who have breast cancer. Like I remember a friend of ours in her 20s, early 20s. Another friend, likewise, early 20s, and then got cervical. This is 20s.
Mm.
Mhm.
I remember growing up, you think breast cancer was like old people thing,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, sister so and cousin so and so, 20s, 30s, 40s. And I'm like, we can't wait for mammograms till 40. We can't wait to even colonoscopies. I don't know what age they recommend, but I'm like,
40 plus too, yeah.
40 plus, we can't wait. And then men and prostate cancer, I'm hearing the prostate cancer stuff popping up among men and often.
Earlier.
We can't,
Mhm.
those ages, we need to adjust those numbers, is what I'm thinking.
And I'm just wondering if that's even part of the male checklist. You talk about prostate, like, I know for my husband, like when he goes to his doctor, he meets certain markers or like, oh, you're at this age now, we need to check for this. I've never heard them mention breast cancer on that list at any interval. So it's like bringing awareness to it. I'm thinking that we now need to start adding that to the list of things to check for men as well, because it's very much
Mhm.
something we see for women all the time. I mean, the pink and everything, women check this, women check that, but we rarely hear anyone advocating for men to do the same thing. What are your thoughts about that, Raymond?
I'm in the process of working on that stuff like that. So as in, I'm talking to my other fellow breast cancer men. Every time you hear breast cancer, it's always it's all in pink. It just we're celebrating with women, and it just no, it was celebrating with women, and we are just it's just a big celebration. It's fun, but well, men will get like really bored at times because they're paying attention, but they're not really paying attention. So my thing that I'm trying to get in contact with my friends, as in just adding like basically a call show or adding just something a little bit manly, but just still keeping it feminine, just to get the word out.
Mhm.
Well, I can tell you, look, I'll be 68 in a couple of hot minutes, and
What?
yeah, and so I know I don't look a day over 69, do I? But but I have had more physicals and examinations. I have never had one doctor or medical professional ever ask me, have you done an examination to see if you have any abnormalities in your breast? And the very word breast, Raymond, for a man, the word breast
Mhm.
is something that either we are expecting it to have 11 secret herbs and spices, or we expect it to belong to some sister, that we're trying to get to know. But the
Yeah.
idea of owning breast anything for a man is kind of opposed to our masculinity. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you were saying it right. When men hear breast, they're hearing femininity. That's what they're
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah.
Mhm.
So when I talk to other men, I'm like, okay, yes, we do have breasts. And they'll tell the main thing they'll say, no, I don't have breasts. I have pecs. I have pecticles.
Mhm.
So
Pet cancer.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
pec cancer. So I would prop that as a saying just to get the word out more. If we could change it as in pecticular cancer, I guess. But
Mm.
that
I
That'll
like that.
get more men to get checked out some more.
Hmm.
Wow.
So
Good one.
that's a good idea. I did want to acknowledge in the chat. I had a couple people I know. Someone shared that they had a scare a few years ago. That they felt that pain, and it didn't eventually go away. But they went through the process of having that diagnostic test. And I wonder, too, just to reiterate, because I know people join this at different times, some of the warning signs. Because if men aren't having those regular, checks where they're, really feeling for it. You were saying, you noticed some growth, but you also experienced some pain as well. Just can you share again what that pain? I think you equated it to almost like a heart attack, the feeling of similar
Yeah,
to.
it's like a tightness. It was a tightness of my chest. So it's like it could be like stroke wise, but it could be kind of getting to the heart attack. But as in, I had to explain to some guys that even though that there's a lump right there, if you have leakage at the nipple or just a little soreness around the nipple, it could be you need to get checked, and could be a process that you could be stage 1 breast cancer.
But by then it's a
Sorry.
little too late, right? Oh, no, I was just saying by then it's a little too late. Like, I wonder if there are ways to pick up on it earlier.
Well, not if,
Stage 1 is.
not I mean, if it's leaking, you're still in the early stages. It could be you in the early stages, so it's not really full throttle, but it's there.
The symptom that you described of feeling like a heart attack, I've never heard a lady describe their breast cancer, heart attack feelings. And so it was a very interesting description that you gave. Kind of one.
I think Novella froze. I know she was asking about the symptom of feeling like a heart attack. Novella's back now. Okay.
She's gone again.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah, Novella,
I was just wondering why it may have produced that heart attack feeling for you.
Excuse me.
Huh?
I didn't hear what you said.
She was asking what it was about. What was it that made the tumor produce that heart attack feeling for you when women tend to not have the same symptom?
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you. I mean,
I have a guess.
What's that?
I think that because a man's chest is a bit tighter, and there's less tissue there.
Yeah.
That as the tumor grew, you could feel the pulling, that tightness that you were feeling was that tumor stretching the minimal material in a man's chest area, whereas a woman has a larger amount of fat material and it develops ducts and padding. Yeah. So she doesn't feel that tightness there.
And Rodney was sharing too. It felt very tender and painful to the touch, which was one of the reasons why So I think it's good to kind of help men kind of look for some of these warning signs that they may have not really been paying attention to, maybe dismissed, as you mentioned, Raymond. It's probably something else, something insignificant, something I ate. How we do it. So
I got a question for Raymond. Have you ever considered or thought about dyeing a portion of your beard or all of it pink?
I did that 1 year for the Susie Coleman walk. I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, you're walking around looking like your face is on fire.
That's basically it.
Yeah. So wait a minute. I mean, doing something like that, and even being committed to speaking about breast cancer, men's breast cancer, bringing awareness. Why was that so important for you to do after your diagnosis? So some people, they go through it, they praise God, they survive, and they just go ahead with their lives. Why was it important for you to advocate for this?
Well, I mean, the Lord gave me a second chance, so it's my turn to speak on what He
Amen.
done for me, helping somebody else.
I love that.
That's nice. I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on the health part. I know some people who get cancer, they kind of start to change, their lifestyle and their health journeys and stuff. Was that something that you did, or like what changed about your lifestyle and your approach to health now
Um,
that, since you got the diagnosis?
it was a slowly change to what I was doing for my health. But the first thing I stopped with was eating a lot of starch and slowing down on a lot of sugar. So
Okay.
that was one of the processes that I did, and I got to a point that I stopped eating meat for like 2 months, and that's not a country boy way, but I did it.
You feel like that helps when you were
It helped. It helped, but I got back on the meat and I gained weight again. But I stayed walking, doing exercises, and just staying on that path.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
great. So someone mentioned in the chat, they didn't mention the charity. There's a national charity. Their son has a national charity that recognizes Breast Cancer Month every year.
Yes.
Are there any other organizations that you partner with, or
Okay.
charities that you work with regularly?
Well, they just now changed their name. But it was Male Breast Cancer Coalition, but it's Male Breast Cancer Global Alliance.
No breast cancer.
They're based in New York, and it's every single man that had breast cancer, they're on there, and
Oh,
they're really getting a new person like almost like every day, just telling their stories and what they've been through. And I need to update mine because it's been a while. So yeah.
I feel like we need to get the word out about that more, because I have never heard of that ever until you just said it. And
I'm gonna put it in the chat too. The site.
I think more people need to be aware.
Well, before we get close to, and I know we've got only a few minutes left, but first of all, I'm so deeply grateful that GP asked that question. And Raymond, I think out of solidarity with you, GP is going to dye his beard pink also. Am I correct in that, GP?
Got a few.
Maybe a stripe. Maybe a stripe.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
Were you ever sick while you were being treated? Did you ever feel ill or?
Thank God. No, just a regular, just going through
nice.
chemo and everything. So that was a big blessing on that.
That's a blessing.
That really is, and
I have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Amy.
I was gonna ask a little personal question, but I know
walks in the park, rainy day.
I know that some women who get breast cancer, and I was watching this show where this lady had gotten breast cancer, and she was afraid to be with her husband because of her physical, the way she looked. And I was just wondering, like, how does that, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel insecure? I don't know. Like, I don't know if you don't want to answer it, if it's too personal.
No, that is a real good question. Well, I didn't have no problem with that, as in that, me and like I think it was last year. We did just a cancer event that was just asking questions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
One of my cancer sister's husband, he just said if your wife or if your husband is feeling that certain way, keep the same spark and keep on going, just to make them feel better about themselves.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Just to help them go through what they're going through. So, um, as I said, I didn't have a problem with that side, but I know some people that did have it, and I just told them you had to talk to your significant other so y'all can um make things work between y'all at this time of difficult.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now I know we are wrapping up, and I want to make sure that our audience understands, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, what is something you wish more people understood or knew about men and breast cancer?
Um, well, I wish men would talk more. That's one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, just doing more research and getting some more words out about what's going on in men. Um, just not in the normal typical colon and stomach and
Prostate.
yes, all our cancers. We
Mhm.
do have breast cancer. Um, just in general, how I always say, cancer do not discriminate.
Mhm.
So, um, as you know now, men could get breast cancer, and we could get more things that that's more intact with women, but we don't talk about it more. So I just wish that
Mhm.
men would talk about just in self-awareness and learning more about just anything about that's dealing with men health.
Mm. I like that. And I feel like that's a charge to even our churches. You know, we have the men's ministry, men's health, and that's not necessarily something we see as part of the discussion. So,
Mhm.
for us listening out there who are part of those ministries in our local churches or just personally, let's just go ahead and be intentional about including that as something to stay aware of. I mean, I know you gave that stat tally of 2,800 people, men being diagnosed in 2024, but we also saw the comment that a lot of times men are misdiagnosed. So I wonder if maybe that number is
Yes.
actually lower, just because men aren't accurately being diagnosed with this. But I definitely think it's something that men should put as a consideration of the things that could possibly, attack them as well. So I thank you um, so much for just being willing to share your story. I feel like you're the perfect person to do so because you embrace the diagnosis, you went through the steps, and now you're doing your part to make sure others know, bring more awareness. So we definitely want to thank you. And we definitely have a t-shirt and an upset mug that we're going to send you. Make sure that you get, just out of appreciation for you being willing to be with us and answer our questions
Okay.
very candidly, and we appreciate that so much.
Now people will identify you with the rest of us crazy people. Hey, before you go, Raymond, it's Are you from Croft, South Carolina?
It's Cross, CROS.
Cross,
Oh, okay. I thought it was
like
down. I
at
thought
the
you were
cross.
close to Aiken. Okay, yeah. Good place, good people down there, man,
Oh, yeah.
and you have represented them well, my friend. All the best to you and your family.
Thank you.
Yes. And our viewers are saying thank you, Raymond, for sharing your story. They're glad that you are a survivor and an advocate for men. So very much appreciate it.
Thanks for
Um,
having me.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
yes.
Raymond.
It's an
I'd like to
absolute
say
pleasure.
thanks to. Mhm.
Yes. Thank you. It's nice meeting you too. Maybe when we're in South Carolina, uh, though I don't know when they'll be, but if you ever
Down in the big city of Cross,
if we ever go through Cross, we're gonna look for you. I'm sure they know you, and we'll point you
Yeah.
in the right
Cross
direction.
paths.
Mhm.
Thanks, my friend.
Try and cross
Appreciate it.
paths.
Okay, have a good one.
Have a good one,
All
man.
right, you too. Thanks so much, Raymond.
Wow,
Thank you.
what a discussion. I
Yeah.
mean, when you think about the fact that this is, I mean, look, I'm close to 70. I have never had a doctor talk to me about this ever, not
Mhm.
ever. And I mean, and when Raymond says that a 14-year-old,
14. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's time for all
that's
of us
scary.
to become aware of it.
Yeah, and I just feel like cancer in general, and I saw someone put in the comments that, we all have cancer cells in
Yeah.
our bodies, and a lot of it has to do with how we manage our diet and our lifestyles that determine whether or not they spread or infect our bodies. I just feel like cancer is on a rampage like never before, in so many different people of all ages, and so I definitely think bringing awareness to one that that men don't often consider
Yeah.
is very important because everything. I mean, you don't want to scare people, but there's so many other things that can be options for what's going on with you, and even if your doctor may not recommend or suggest that this could be an issue, you have to educate yourself on some of these things too, and advocate for what you're hearing. So hearing stories like Raymond sharing what he experienced, if you're experiencing that as a man, that's definitely something you want to make sure you look into. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you guys
Well, it was
for
good having you back, Tasha, and good having Novella to lead out for us today.
yes, and you, Dr. Tally. We're gonna call you Dr. Tally.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on television.
I think it would be cool if men they could change it to like check the pecs.
Yeah.
I do like his
that.
pectoral. What was
Pectoral
it?
cancer.
That sounds more
Yeah.
manly, right? Because it has to sound
Yeah.
manly for you all to consider it.
I
Right?
mean,
I don't think a man is going to say,
Arnold-
"Please check my breast." I think that
Right.
my
I
pecs,
know. Please check my pecs.
Pectoral cancer.
Yeah, I mean, that pectoral cancer sounds like something Arnold Schwarzenegger gets. And I mean, and I'm not ashamed to have that.
Yeah, pectoral process. Okay, wow, it's amazing how we even want our diseases to be manly. But it's the thing, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, thank you guys for a great discussion on an important topic. We invite all of our listeners, please share this with someone you know. Awareness is key. Sharing is key. Sharing is caring, as they say. And so please make sure that we're spreading the word. I just saw another comment. Post-COVID cancer is on the rise due to lack of wellness checkups during the lockdown as well as per some studies. So that's another just reminder in general, guys, go get checked out. Just if you're not doing that annually, you're doing yourself a disservice. And that goes for men and women. We can't catch everything. I know some of us, I know my body. I know, but still you need to see your doctor and get those regular checkups. So.
I meant to tell Raymond that if he really wanted to make sure that he, went to the doctor and all that, there's only one thing he needs, and that is a wife. I mean, because they will make sure you go. I mean, they will stay on you about it.
That's right. Yeah.
Check the pecs.
Check the pecs. That's a good
# man boobs matter.
Somehow I can't see
go viral.
Men putting
Man
that
like
back
bad boobs.
Pick up.
Or don't be a boob.
Don't be a
Someone
boob,
asked,
get checked. I like that one.
No.
Someone asked about how they can get a mug. So there are different ways you can get a mug. You can
Here's a mug.
You can,
Okay.
you can reach out to me because we did have it online, but I kind of got the inventory during camp meeting, so now it's in the office. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me, and I'll make sure you get one. And you can do that by just emailing me lhewitt@aecsda.com, and I'll make sure you get that. Thanks for asking.
Tally's advertisement.
They saw your mug. That's why they asked.
Oh. Well, whenever people see my mug, they ask questions. So.
I missed you guys so much. It's great to be back. Anyway, we'll be back again next Sunday. Same time, same place. I haven't said it in a while. Same
Yeah.
time, same place. Because if it's Sunday,
It's time for people to come back from Africa.
oh mercy. Have a great week, everybody. Don't
Take
forget to get your checkups.
Check the pecs.
Check the pecs. We love
If you
you.
see
Yeah,
something,
make sure
say
they're
something.
your own pecs, brothers.
Check your pecs. That's we gotta be specific. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.